Hi everyone and welcome to the Italian Rant, where we discuss the latest technological advantages in road cycling. And today we do have a great guest, nonetheless a bike itself. Yes, I don't think it's been done before, and we do have today Canyon CF SLX in rim brake and showing quite a distinctive feature, 25C tires. So my first question would be to you, Irod. What is the feeling of being a relic of the past? Something that, in near future will be overtaken at speed by all the other road bikes sporting 40C tires. Yes. What do you think about that? Did you not read the latest cycling news article about 40mm tires? Let me rephrase that for you. 40mm road tires are faster for nearly everyone, and here's why. So, Cycling News have done all the testing. They've done a really comprehensive lab setup, rolling resistance, aero data, pedaling efficiency, and look at you with your 25C tires. I mean, have I read the article? I don't need to read the article. Look, the conclusion is there in clear letters. No one cares about the data and all the nitty gritty. People just look at the headline and they made up their mind. No? So, guys, maybe the Italian rant would be a feature on my channel. But yes, today's video is about this interesting article that Josh Croxton of Cycling News has put out, because it's very interesting. All my friends have sent me this screenshot and say, look, you were wrong all along. And I'm happy to accept that. And I paid, of course, the fee to read the whole article and find out whether I was in the wrong, still keeping my narrow tire to be faster on the road. Now, of course, there's a push to go wider. There were a lot of articles from GCN trying to find out whether not only wider tires were more comfortable, but also could be introduced as a performance tire all around. So we all know that Tadej Pogacar won Tour de France with 30C tires. Some might argue, as I've done in the previous video, that this push towards wide tires is all connected with the introduction of disc brake bikes and hookless rims. As you know, when you have a hookless rim, then a wider tire works better. I was suspicious of this move to wide tires, whether could also reflect in overall fast performance on a race bike. Now it looks like that Cycling News have done the test and came out with a conclusion. So not only 30-32, but 40mm tires should be the future. Having read the article quite in details, because it's not an easy subject, there's a lot of numbers, a lot of tables, it looks to me that the assumption that 40mm tires were better came before the actual test results. And I won't show you all the tables because definitely the article is behind the paywall, and I urge you to actually subscribe to Cycling News to read this important feature. From my point of view, as someone that wants to be as fast as possible on the roads that you and me ride on, so mainly smooth, even based on this test, narrow tires are still the winning combination. I'm going to substantiate my own opinion based on the results of Josh's test, and somehow he came out with a different conclusion than mine. Let's see why. In the industry, now everyone considers wider tires to have a lower rolling resistance. Now, I read many articles. I could not find this difference because at the same comfort pressure, so where the pressure is equalized, the rolling resistance between widths is very similar. And somehow that's the same results that Josh is finding. So on smooth tarmac surface, the differences in rolling resistance are negligible. Straight away, the rolling resistance itself is not a condition that dictates for you to switch to a wider tire. Strangely enough, wider tires are better on cobbles. I would not have argued the slightest on that. Now let me show you my extent of riding in the cobbles, which mainly is these very short sections on Richmond Park where they have put this very short cobble section, I don't know why. Apart from that, I always ride on the road. So to me, it doesn't really matter because I don't plan to ride Paris-Roubaix either. So even Josh is a little surprised to see no benefit for wider tyres on smoother surface. Let's leave it like that. Then we go to the wind tunnel test. And of course, again, the narrower the tyre, the more aerodynamic it is. Having a smaller frontal area is a benefit also on the wind tunnel test. Using two different wheel sets, so a 40mm wheel set and a 54mm wheel set, we do have a situation where a 26C tyre with a 40 is very similar in terms of wind penetration to a 32C tyre and a 54mm. Very understandable, because if you have a narrow tyre and a shallower rim, it would be the same if you enlarge this shape than to match on a 32 with a 54. So the aerodynamics is very similar. My guess is if you increase the speed, then of course a narrower setup will still be more efficient. Even better would be having a 26C tyres on a 54 rim, but of course they haven't tested this. So Josh's conclusions of this part of the test, where we've done all the research, combining all the rolling resistance data, the wind tunnel test data, and the words are on a smooth surface where there are no imperfections in the road for the tyre to deform around, there's no real benefit for switching to wider tyres. And so the aerodynamic penalty makes them net worse. So, Mr. Canyon Aero, I think on a smooth road you still be faster. Let's see why then the article headline is that 40mm tyres are faster for nearly everyone. So who's this everyone? Of course, on the rough cobblestone roads, the improved rolling resistance of the bigger tyres far outweigh the aerodynamic detriment. Would you ride on the cobblestones? No? Why not? Might be interesting for once, no? At this point of the article, that's where Josh's perform his coup au théâtre. The tests have spoken, narrow tyres are faster on smooth road, and I wonder where would you ride a road bike anywhere else? But this is the real turn of the table and turn of events where Josh starts to define a real-world surface type. So now we enter a moment of assumptions, because we assume that in real life, yes, roads are not perfect, but then Josh gives a percentage of broken roads against smooth surface. He projects the broken roads and the benefit that you can get with wider tyres to define the 40mm tyres would be the fastest option on these rough surfaces. To me, it doesn't really feel something that is clearly defined. How would you define smooth, and how smooth is smooth, or how rough is rough? Anything that is in between, I would say, is your preference. If you want to move the needle towards the comfort or move the needle towards speed. The article says, should we all be riding 40mm road tyres? I still can't justify for my own personal use of someone that wants to climb fast, go fast on a smooth surface, and be as efficient as possible, any reason from this test to switch to wider tyres, unless it's comfort or unless I want to ride in the cobbles, which I don't. So there's a lot of weight that you need to carry around if you go wider tyres, and at the same time the wind detriment of wider tyres is still underestimated in this test, because they tested at 40 km an hour in absence of any further increases in wind. So when you go on the road, somehow you end up having headwinds, so your speed is actually compounded with the headwind. Sometimes you might go at 40 km an hour, but with the headwind, it's like you were going at 50 or even 60 km an hour. The benefit of narrow tyres is very underestimated in terms of aerodynamic performance. I don't want to think that there is a bias in Josh's mind. I do like his articles. At the end of the day, physics are physics, you can't reinvent them, and although, yes, technology can advance, I would say the industry needs to be consistent with the message that they put out. If the article would be discussing the comfort benefit of wider tires, no problems at all. If the article headline would be on rough surfaces, 46 tires are better, no problem at all. But when the headline alone says 40mm tires are faster for nearly everyone, I cannot agree. Who's this everyone? People ride road bikes to be fast and efficient on a smooth surface. Now, maybe I got this wrong. So yes, by all means, try 40mm road tires yourself. I know that my friend here, Canyon iRoad, can still be fast on the road. Yes, maybe if I want to be more comfortable in the future, I can do the switch. But if I only focus to be fast on the road, I think I can stick with my 25C. Guys, let me know in the comments after you read the article what's your take on this, and I would love to discuss all your comments, and maybe I'll come back in the near future with another Italian Rant podcast. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Ciao.